This is day 963 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. If you like to sponsor come share more of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, please call me directly. Very greatly appreciate it. Today we're still in Siman Tov Reish Mem Ches. Today we're doing Chav Tes to Lamed Zayin. Chav Tes. If he's an ancient one, we're talking about Sogim Makavi, grafted Sogim. If he's an ancient one, Sogim Mako, some she said, Edim Shodim at Dios Mitilosan. Shem Bem Shumar Kavach. We really have no head to use the sorghum unless only those that Jews testify that they know the trees were planted from the beginning. Shem Bem Shumar Kavach without grafting. Well, sorghum had Tzedak Kedosha, like the sorghum which come out of Tzisla. Shem Gdol Yisrael with Tamid Chachomim. Ve'elokim Ashgichim had kinos there. Shebesham, not Shebeshem. Shebesham that there Gdol Yisrael Tamid Chachomim. Ve'elokim Ashgichim kinos. They are supervising the orchards. There should not be any grafting. The Jewish says you should be meticulous buy from a trustworthy person. If you can buy esrog from those places which are known and assumed to be not murkavim, it's better to buy from them. Be'alach says b'diavad, if you already bought it or that you don't know, don't have sources which are known to be established as not murkavim, you can rely on two simonim on the exterior of the esrog and make a bracha as well, as he has stated previously. And the Bir Halacha says you should not protest somebody who lies on the simonim together with a rove. I guess there was a rove of esrogim that they're not morkav, and makes a bracha. So the Arukh HaShulchan continues, Abel esrog korfu, ein shum heter, evidently, that Korfu esrogim were a big problem. Even with their Kshem, everyone knows there are very few Jews there. And they are suppressed by the authorities. They're afraid of the authorities. How can you know what people are doing in the fields, same in their gardens, and their orchards, if they graft or not. Maybe you say, maybe you say, well, people are not assumed to cause stumbling blocks unless they have some benefit. Ibra, in this case, they have a significant benefit. You do it's known that the kol murkav gadol mimenu peri yofe. Anytime something is grafted, it produces a fine fruit. Kol she'en murkav, it's not grafted, a peri ein yofe. The fruit is not so fine. Chol peres is true about all fruits. But on the contrary, the fact, the upgrade of the Sogei Korfu is their downgrade. They're truly very beautiful. There's nothing like them. That's because they're grafted. Any Jew who's touched by Yiras Hashem, will only buy a swim from Eretz Yisrael. Now comes a bit of a Zionist plug. How will we not be embarrassed? Loni Koleim and ashamed. Bidvar mitzvah, in a matter of a mitzvah, Shulchala Kaimon, Mipri Artzenu Akdosha, which you can fulfill from the fruit of our holy land. Little Dafka Meretz, I mean, to specifically take fruit from non-Jewish soil. Oy Lola, also Busha, woe to that embarrassment. Oy Lola, clean, woe to that shame. Valzenem, concerning this, it says, Vaymasu Beretz Chemda. They repudiated the precious land. Therefore, you should be very careful to take an esrog from Eretz Yisrael. The Bracket says, Then this psul for Sogei Korfu goes back quite a long time. It goes back to Levush and Magen Avram and the Taz. Lamed also esrog chazozis. If the esrog has chazozis, who come up babuos ketanos, you don't see this because these esrogim usually don't make it to market. I remember once as the Shalvim they brought Rabbi Shloziger Sheiche a esrog said, "Oh, this is a chazazis. Never ever saw a chazazis before." But that's I don't remember what it looked like. But it said that it says like it has small pimples, I mean skin, as if it has a boils. And these boils have some substance. You can tell where they are, but mishush by feeling them. They are raised from the esrog. If it's in one place, in a place only possible it's in the most of the esrog. If it's in 2 or 3 places, I feel them in even if it's a minority of the esrog, not possible. That's only the places are distinctly separate. There's only a small separation. It's like one place. The time of the Gosh time Mishloshim goes. The reason why it's worse in 2 or 3 places. Mishum the Ayin Sholi become Komos. I can see these several places, these several splotches. It's not other. Mishum when there isn't a great interruption between the places, and I show it the eye does not does not look at it as being distinguished between the places. And it remains like one spot. The bracket says here, that's why it says 2 or 3 splotches. If it is 3 is no good, certainly 2 should no good. Rather, there should be other way around. If 2 is no good, certainly 3 is no good. You have to be able to tell that there are gaps there. Yushalmi says also the chazazis is on most of the esrog on one side. The low boy and a robe of kilo. You don't need a rove of the totality of the esrog. If you rove tzad echad, even the rove of one side of the esrog is possible. Those explain the kavanah so kibashas tilon. Yushalmi is saying like our shas tzad echad having kamon bakam echad. That if it's on one side, it's not so distant from each other. The splashes, it's all like one place. Klamar amos side being a rubo. So meaning when do you need a jari dafnu bakam echad? Only one place. But in 2 places not below ruba puzzle, even it's not majority of the esrog is puzzle. Rabbeinu Beis Yosef Kosa B'Sibi Yud Yesh. Means some say the Shleim Shloshim becomes puzzle. That's where the splotches, the 2 or 3 splotches puzzle. I Tafka, a specific shei spashed on Nimor Beruba, where the discoloration has expanded to most of the esrog. Abisha B'Shetar Chabros Hu Miut. Even though if you take into account the actual measurement of these bubbles or wounds, it's still going to be in the minority esrog. Hamuto, but in minority esrog, they're all on one side esrog. Kasha, it's about the supposed to have to miuto shal side echad, and those who reject even when it's the minority of one side. Akan l'shana and quarter from the Beis Yosef. Zela persha yesha pershu. This is the according to the yesha pershu. That if it's one side, it's like in one place. But according to the first interpretation, that even if the rove is one side, it's like a rove in its totality. So I have to say, according to the first opinion, when it expands to the majority of one side, even though in a surface area it's not the majority of that one side, that's possible. But it's minority of one side. Kasha. Some say it's possible even the minority one side. Anybody says it's because the cane the tzad echad have a miuto. Everybody says if it's on one side it's a mute, which would be okay. Because Yerushalmi is pashut like the Yesha Pirshu. It said, I'm just blanking here. That the side, one side is like one place, and so the one side should like again the side echad having muto would be kosher. The it's the same thing with the Bavli. Not the first opinion, which is much more machmir, that even if it's rov tzad echad, even if it's not rov of the whole esrog, it's possible. Not like Bashut, it's not like the first shot. There are ancient sources. Says like the first parish. That if it's rov of even one side, it's still possible. Yesh lachos, then we have to be concerned with this opinion. Mishmur says he is Mako, actually. He says it has to be in the majority of the esrog on taking into account all of its surfaces. Even a little bit of the chazaz is reached the second side, Mikri Rubo. That's called Rubo Davi Rove Kefos, most of the circumference. Even though it's not the majority of the surface area. Most of the circumference is enough of a psul. Wow. Mishabura writes the same thing. Levushna Rabba Paskin, like the first opinion, to be Machmir. Also, Prima God. No. The first opinion is more Machmir. Is more Machmir. It's like the second opinion. That the Prima God says it's not possible until it expands to the majority of the whole Esrog. Okay, not sure. First opinion, second opinion, something got mixed up. Something got mixed up there. Let's go on to Lamed Beis. Yeah, Vima Chazaz Mechza. Malcolm Chazaz is 50-50. Half, and with certain places, those states kosher. It's like the Machlekes by Emeru parts, or Omer Kippur, it's by Erevin. Yesh Machshin, the Dafka Brew apostle, it's only when the majority is the Chazaz is possible. Lo Mechza. Now it's a 50-50. After something, you can measure precisely. Yesh postim to those who pass shouldn't be a rov on the 9. Because you need a majority of kosher area which can be clearly discerned by the naked eye. If you showed something and it can't be precise in measuring. This is the primary halacha. It's true that not also Chazal is a Ruba apostle. Says Chazal is on the majority of the apostle. Mash the Mechza kosher sounds like it's only on half of its kosher. In number they have short time, we can say that these things can be measured precisely. If being a rov on the and that we don't need a majority which can be discerned by the naked eye. Nevertheless, but safe as not, I'm Yuta kosher. And later on it says on the minority it's kosher. The implication being the Mashal Hedia explicitly, the Mechza apostle, it's 50-50 is possible. The male doesn't do Chumrah, so therefore we have to go to Chumrah B'chein Yishlos, and that's why we should paskin. Mishmor says you should be Machmir as well. For different reasons. It says like the last opinion because the Mechaber cited it last. The Garden writes that it's not enough to find that it's kosher by measuring. You have to be a rov and nikol le'inayim even without the measuring. Again, as I said, I don't think any chazos is in Chutz La'aretz. I don't think a chazos is in so very often either. I'm going to give my Gemara. Gemara says the other chazos say the apostle like Brubo, that which chazos is only apostles in the majority of the Esrog, or B'shleim B'shlish Mekomos, or in 2-3 places. Zeu Shelo Rosho. That it's not on the Chotem, not on the top third. Zeh Shana Gemara. This is what the Gemara says. Amar Rava Chotam, it's on the top third. I feel by Mashal apostle, even in Samashu, it's still it's apostle. Peirush Rashi Chotamo, but Ovi Govo in the thickness of its height. Shemishaper Mishom L'Tzad Rosho, from where it begins narrowing to the towards the pitim. The Sham Shalit Hayin Yoser, because there the eye pays more attention. Bein harder, it's not harder. Miloshin and Mashman, from this it seems a gam, but Ovi Govo Atzmo, in the thickness of the its height itself, Havik Misham Be'echad Rosha. I guess in other words the place where the slope begins. That's the thickness. The thickness. That's also included in the Chotem. About Turkos of Michotam over Elach. Not from the apart from the part where it starts narrowing towards the pitim. Mashal the Rak Mokom Shipur of Lobo Gov. It's only where the where it's turning inwards towards the pitim, not where it ends its breath. It says also in the case it says the Chotem item we Mokom Shemaskil is Katzer place where it begins to get shorter, Uskaded and sharp and clapping Roshel towards its head. These are questions of Shalom Kavanas Rashi Kehu. Could be the Rashi also to wait. Zesh because of Ovi Govho. It starts at the thickness of its height. Zeu Rak Simon Shmokom El Mikra Chotem. It's only something that above that, out of the Lord the cloud begins the Chotem. Avalo Ovi Govatzmo, but not the thickness of that higher ridge itself. The Ram says the same thing. The lava called Shipur. It's not even the whole Chotem, which is the problem. Because he says, saw the al dado only on the nipple, which is the extreme top. I feel kosher posel akam shono. The dado Eino elam says mamish l'shaft. It's the part which is literally next to the flowering top of the pitum. V'kach via magi mission b'zel shari geus pirish chotamu chuda v'rosh esrog. It's not the top third. It's the very tip of the esrog. Ein sham before the head is explicit. The rak hachud mifsa b'chazos is muetes. The sharp point at the end comes possible with a small chazazis, not the rest of the chotem. But it's balei al Tur Shulchan Aruch shlevi udas Rambam, because it's astonishing that Tur Shulchan Aruch do not cite the Rambam. Practice says here, Barani b'shnei perushim Rosh Klas Rashi ain't kol shibuni kram muat chotem tzay ayin shom tzarchin. Well, seems to indicate that the Rashi holds like the Rambam. Bir Halacha says, therefore we have to say that l'chuli hama the chotem esrog starts after the majority of the esrog. I guess the majority of the esrog has to be below the chotem and not above, and not before that. The Shai Tshuva requires us to be choshesh to Rashi. If we find the chazazis in the place where it's the height of the circumference. In any event, Shas Chak can be makel even on the first day and make a bracha. Lamadal, Kishem. Shachazis place in Mechutam Ma'ala, just like the chazazis is a psul on the slope of the esrog. I feel kosher puzzle, and no matter how small it is, puzzle. Tafka Shini Mara, I'm sorry. I skipped away. So to kosher mara, any change in the way it looks. Imu chotam l'mala, if it's from the chotam and above. I feel kosher if it's a minute amount. Puzzle is puzzle. That kosher mara, a puzzle basket. That's specifically when it's a change in color, which makes an esrog puzzle. By shachar if it's black or white. Gam section near the head of Robin Yar must has to be apparent to most people. Assuming without a magnifying glass and slowly without a loop. In the kuda ba'amba, but a dot. Lace number not problem. I feel mimaros or pasulos, even if it's black or white. And me will say amar pasul, and if it's red, that's not a pasul. So the Bialach says that red is the color of an esrog. Prima Gaim says that if it's really, really red, it's pasul. If it's light red, it's kosher. The choshkei komnei yarkus. So all types of green are not pasul. The near umar is zav, it looks golden. I feel dam nida, adam. Even by dam nida, it's not red. Here it's the color of the esrog. Coats, or less. So to the change in the way it looks is by a thorn or a leaf, which is hung around that place. Shenachim was that blettel, which we call blettel, and it was a scratch, or rittel. The lav klum, it's not a problem. The shini mara enel masha not shini me'atzmuso. Shini mara, the change in the way it looks is a change which comes in and of itself. Masha not sem akum akum ba'adam, but that becomes the place comes crooked and red. Machmas hakotzim she'oktzim also because of the thorns which thorn it. Kasha is still kasha. But then choshei mara nasa machmas said so too it's true about any change the way it looks which comes external to the act, it's not internal to the esrog. Laminate. Those who say the huadin is also true. The yavesh place of chotam b'koshu, that dryness passes in the slope, no matter how small. But nizdak, it's cracked in a pasel chotamo, it doesn't passel if it's in the slope. Yes, more than if it's in other parts of the esrog. Those are concerned. Gam nizdak, also it's cracked. The time is it's not either. Anything which has to do with heater, it passes in the slope, even if it's minute. But the truth is it's cracked. It's not possible because of hadar, and it's because it has to be a whole taking. So therefore, it's not relevant to this discussion. The halacha says it should be machmir when it's cracked on the chotem, unless it's a shas chak. It says also there's a hole or there's something missing. The same halacha applies to the chotem as the rest of the esrog, just like we just said, like cracks. It's the same halacha. Lamed vav. Because what I was saying about Shulchan Aruch Gimel, they write chazazis who come up babulos, which you saw. It's like blisters. V'yesh bo mamish. It has substance. You can tell it's placed in mishush. By feeling it, you go my ass, so it's raised to the rest of the chazazis. So therefore, you can say the certain type of chazazis which is good. She call mole, one which is called a mole. Meaning the fish ain't going mishar, so they're not raised in the rest of the esrog. Fish mishkas, those who wrote the yesh lachshir mitam nechshavim mar esrog. So they say it's kosher because it's considered the countenance of an esrog. Lots of them have these moles. In other words, you can't. I feel givoy mishar esrog kosher. even they're much higher than the rest of the still kosher because that is the derech with the one of the drachim which they grow. The Mishnah says that Achronim have a consensus they should not be makel where it's taller than the rest of the esrog, unless it's a shas letchak. Yeah. Any of them mouths a mole. I know what a mole is. I know what a mole is on the skin, but what a mole is the esrog is. Yesh kosher krenel is that black mole. V'yesh pirshu krenel is that fleck. Shneinu plima. Zel kehad and akios, and this is like a lack of cleanliness. It's not like a real blemish. Since that compliment we had it several times. Kim shei go on so it's not raised by the esrog. Ein zem b'chlal chazos. It's not considered to be chazos. Master is learning to chazos. Oh. Every time Arukh HaShulchan, they don't find chazos in the esrog. So you have the esrog Geneva, esrog Corsica, no esrog. Not the right way. The able to say ben b'chotam b'chol esrog is not the difference between the slope and the rest of the esrog. Lamazai, cloud call yesh ladas, the ben psul shiri mara ben psul chazos. General principle, which is important to know. So whether the psul is because it looks different, or whether the psul is chazos. So I feel also about chazos being in shaposel, even as a chazos in way that's apostle. Or shemenumar bay, or it's many splotches. In shakova chazim arasrok kosher. When you peel off the outer skin, it comes back to look like an esrog again. It's kosher. Mishnah says, in the chatchila. But it's only when you peel it low klum, be careful esrog that nothing's missing from the substance of the esrog. You'll say maguf esrog, but then you lose part of the substance of the esrog. Or possibly on Rishon, it's possible even on the first day. Tam chassid because it's missing. Upashitu. That's obvious. Actually, only the first day because esrog chassid is kosher rest of the sukkahs. In a karma palmim shaydei dvikas shava. We saw several times that by if you adhere some wax to that place where there is a dibuk, which I did because shava and listai a dibuk. Shem Khan said the rach yeshmin shel listai for kosher. It's something which is here's the esrog. So you can scrub it with wax or some other way, and then it's kosher. Yeah. Okay. That's it. That's all for tonight.